when we have a lot to do, or the more we have to do, it's pretty easy to see that the more demands we have on ourselves, the lower our performance goes.
Okay.
And this is a concept called performance load. Okay? So the higher the load, the lower the performance on any of those individual tasks.
Okay.
And part of that has to do with energy. So, we're biological systems. We're not machines.
Right.
We only have a certain amount of time and energy
It gets
each day.
split out among...
And cognitive switching penalty. If the more things we have to go back and forth between, the less effective we do. Okay? And so performance load is as the tasks that any particular individual is responsible for increases, the effectiveness and efficiency of their work decreases. And this is something that, there's a certain amount of, you certainly don't want to be bored.
Right.
Okay? But there reaches a certain point where you can't do your job effectively anymore. You start to have to make trade-offs. And there's actually, this is something that Toyota and the Toyota production system, one of the core philosophies, most people are familiar with the constant improvement and eliminating waste.
Yeah.
One of the lesser known, but probably more important concepts is a concept that they call MORI, which is overwork or overburden.
Wow.
And that overburdening employees to do certain tasks is as much a form of waste as using too much material or having an inefficient process or, all of these things.
Don't we all wish our bosses thought like this?
Right. And so one of the ways that they restructure their system is if one individual is responsible for doing too much, that reduces the consistency and the reliability and the effort that they can put towards that task. And people make mistakes. And that's a prime form of making a mistake. You have too much to do. And so overwork is a very real thing.
Sure.
And both for yourself and with the people that you work with, particularly if you're managing other folks.
Oh, yeah.
Is eliminate or delegate or defer those things that aren't absolutely essential for that person to do. And you'll really help. I mean, you have to have some additional capacity because unexpected things come up all the time too.
Absolutely.
And so, it's one of the reasons why, so many people don't like their jobs and, have too much to do, all of these things is that there's just too much stuff going on. And so you have to be able to make trade-offs. And you have to be able to set limits. I mean, there's a wonderful quote by Charles Boyle that says, if not controlled, work will flow to the competent man until he submerges.
Absolutely.
And it's true. You have to set a limit somewhere. And limits don't set themselves.
Yeah.
You have to set them. And so you have to be able to set the limit and say, this is enough, this is too much, and deal with the consequences of setting that limit and the trade-offs that are involved. So, if your boss is demanding too much, you have to be willing to say, this is my limit. I'm not going to be working at midnight every day and not spending time with my family and my friends and not feeding myself and not getting enough sleep. This is my limit. And if you're not okay with that, then, you have to deal with the consequences of that, which is the other side.
Right.
But performance load is a very real thing, both for yourself and for the people you work with.
Yeah.
So make sure that you're not overburdening yourself or you're overburdening the people that you're working with. If you want to remain effective and efficient over a long period of time, make sure you have some extra capacity.
I totally see that at work. But how do you reconcile that with, I know a lot of people who feel like they do better at everything when they're busy.
I think it's a certain amount. It's one thing to be busy. It's one thing to have enough to feel stimulated, to feel
Maybe
like you're
that's what
making
it
a
is.
contribution.
Yeah.
But there's a certain limit that once you cross that line.
Yeah, too much is too much.
Too much is too much.
So maybe it's just stimulation, feeling like you're learning from all sorts of places and bringing it to, okay.
Yeah, and if you're feeling like you're doing good work and you're enjoying yourself and you have, you're able to take care of yourself and get enough sleep and get enough rest and all of those things, you want to work yourself up to the point where you're feeling stimulated.
Got it.
And you can come at each day with renewed energy and vigor and get things done. That's good and healthy.
Okay.
Above that limit, though,
Right.
and you start to break down really quick.
Then you get into the Mori.
Exactly.
Okay.
And Mori or performance load is what you want to avoid. So always make sure you have some capacity. You're not working, at 110% of your limit all the time, make sure you're getting enough rest and you're not overworking yourself. That's performance load.